Okay, guys, so I am live. This is unplanned. I was supposed to do it yesterday, but oops, I got a little busy. Actually, I was pretty tired, so I'm doing it tonight. So we're going to be doing blueberry barbecue sauce, and I just realized that I completely and utterly forgot to have my recipe ready. So we're going to do this blueberry. It's a blueberry barbecue sauce. I found out about it because I used to watch that show called Chef and the Farmer with Vivian Howard, and she had this deal at one point worked out with William Sonoma, and they used to have it, and so it was really really tasty. But of course, they stopped carrying it, and so now you can find it online. So now you gotta find it somewhere online. And so this is Somewhere South. Okay, so she has a new show called Somewhere South, and so they have it online. So I'm going to tell you guys the instructions on it. So you need 3 cups of blueberries. You need 2 cups of apple cider vinegar, and you're going to divide that. You need 2 cups of granulated sugar, which I have right here. You need a 1/4 teaspoon chili flakes and 1 3-inch cinnamon stick. I'm going to up the cinnamon stick. And you know what? Oh, and 1 bay leaf. So I got all that here. So let me see if I can find some chili flakes, because who doesn't want some chili flakes in there? And why can't I find my chili flakes, guys? You know what? I'm going to have to find the chili flakes when I put this on here, because I'm probably going to have to dismantle my entire spice cabinet to find it. Yeah, so I live in an old house, and so the magnets on my doors, just decided they're not going to work anymore. So they kind of open, and it kind of looks like, oh, there might be a ghost in there. But anyway, so I'm going to measure everything out. Now, I would recommend this recipe if you have excess blueberries from your bushes, but my bushes are kind of small, and I didn't get a whole lot of blueberries off of them, and so I went and got some from the store. But obviously, it's going to taste better the fresher it is. So first things first, I'm going to start off by measuring out my 3 cups of blueberries, and I'm just going to put it in my bowl right here, because we're going to start off by blending these. So this is one of those things, you could do it in a blender. I'm choosing not to do that because I have a stick immersion blender, and quite frankly, I want to reduce the amount of cleanup that I have to do. And so the blender or a food processor, it's just, you got to disassemble everything, and quite frankly, who wants to be doing all that cleanup? The great thing about this blueberry sauce is that it's not like a traditional blueberry sauce. It's not like a traditional barbecue sauce where it's a tomato base. So it's kind of more like, I think along the lines of like a balsamic vinaigrette, if that makes sense. But it's great. It's very versatile. I actually use it. I make a white pizza. When I do my white pizza, this is what I drizzle on the pizza, because the salty and the sweet is just a nice, really, really nice contrast. So I got my apple cider vinegar. I'll do 2 cups. Guys, when you're cooking, there's a difference between a dry measurement and a liquid measurement. The dry measuring cup looks like this. A liquid measuring cup is the glass one. So it is different. Now, for most cooking, especially in the US, it's not necessarily the most precise. So if you kind of interchange it, it's probably not going to be too big of a deal. I did that for years. But if you're going to do some European cooking, in European cooking, they tend to measure everything. It's going to matter a lot more if you're using a cup versus a liquid measuring spoon. So we're going to put the blueberries and 2 tablespoons of the vinegar in a food processor, and you're just going to pulse them to get the blueberries all pulverized, and just to get the juices flowing. You don't want it to be, because you're going to have to cook it for a little bit. You don't want it to necessarily try to cook it down in the pot. So actually, I'm going to do mine in my crock pot. So I'll flip that around. I'll bring that over here when I'm ready. But let's go ahead and get these blueberries juiced a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to do a little splash. I'm not really measuring that too much. Okay. Stick immersion blender. Add just a little bit more vinegar to it. So if you guys want to know where I got the recipe from, you can get it from, let's see, it's somewhere south, and so it's part of if you do the blueberry barbecue chicken recipe, it has it there. So you're gonna put the blueberries and 2 tablespoons of vinegar in a food processor, and you're gonna pulse it and get some juices flowing. Then you're gonna, in a medium saucepan, you're gonna add the blueberries with the vinegar, sugar, chili flakes, cinnamon stick, and bay leaf, and you're going to cook it for an hour and then come back, and then you're going to strain it a bit. So I'm only going to do, the first part of this. I probably could strain it right now, especially because I've already blended it pretty well. Get the little solid bits out of here. Okay, so let me bring my pot over. Oh, actually, you know what? I think I'm just going to do it in my slow cooker. Because I kind of want to go over here. I want to go outside and get some work done. So I'm just going to put my vinegar in there. I'm going to put my sugar. I'm gonna put a whole cinnamon stick rather than just a 3-inch bit, because who doesn't modify the recipe, right? And then I'm gonna do a bay leaf. Let's see if I can get one. Yeah, I'll put a little extra bay leaf in here because I always find that with these things, there's never enough flavor in them for me. Okay, and so now I'm going to I have a strainer, and I'm going to strain the bits of the blueberry out. My poor dog is sitting here staring at me like I'm crazy. Okay, so let's see if we can do this without making a complete another mess. actually, you know what? Straining it at this point is really not going to work. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the whole thing. I think it's going to need to cook down just a lot before it does it. Okay, so that's almost everything. Hoping you guys can see me. I think you guys can see me at the camera. Okay. So let me see if I can bring the camera over so you guys can see what this looks like. Can you guys see it? Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm just going to stir this in like so. And now sometimes I have done it in the Instant Pot before, but I really want it to just like cook a little slower than doing it on the pressure cooker function. I did the pressure cooker function before, but to me the consistency just wasn't so. Guys, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to plug this baby in. Oops, sorry guys. Probably making somebody somewhere very, very sick. Okay. And actually, you know, let me turn the entire pot around so you guys can see how I do this. So there we go. So here are the numbers. So I'm going to use not the pressure cooker, but I'm going to use the slow cook function. I think I'm going to do it on high, and I think I'm going to do it for 2 hours, because I think on the stove you would do it for an hour and then strain everything and then come back. So I'm just going to do it this way. Okay. And so now that I've done that, I'm going to go outside and I'm going to go do some gardening. I am doing some weeding and that sort of thing, but you know, it is what it is. So I'm not going to come back in this video. I'll probably do another video when I'm finished with it, and then I'll show you another recipe with what I'm using it on. Maybe I'll do the pizza recipe again. But anyway, this is a nice short video. I really wanted to try the camera function. With YouTube, if you use like your phone, it's kind of like you can only do it in portrait mode. And if I'm using it like through YouTube, I can only use the internal camera, which is not as good. This is my webcam, and so StreamYard actually will let me change the camera. So I'm coming in a lot more clearly than I was before, and so I'm really excited about that. So anyway, guys, let me see. I don't think I have any questions. Looks like I'm the only person on here. But anyway, this was a successful test, so I'm definitely getting the hang of StreamYard, and hopefully I'll be able to, I think I'm going to need to get some sort of stand for the webcam so that I can kind of maneuver it. But I think this will be fun, especially if I'm doing something like on the stove, because just to give you guys an example, I can, bring that over so you guys can actually see in the pots. So anyway, guys, that is it. That's it for this video. I'm going to end the broadcast now, but I've got 2 hours on here, and I'll, like I said, I'll do another video in the future showing you guys what I use the blueberry sauce for. But once again, I'm going to put the ingredients up here so you guys know exactly what you have to use. So it's 3 cups of blueberries, 2 cups of apple cider vinegar, 2 cups of granulated sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of chili flakes, and 1 3-inch cinnamon stick and 1 bay leaf. And so you put a little bit of the vinegar in the blueberries and pulse it to get the juices flowing. Put it in a pot with your sugar, and the rest of the stuff I told you about. And you're going to let that cook for an hour, stirring occasionally. And then you're going to blend it once it's cooked for an hour to get it as smooth as possible. I kind of already did that step because That's what I did with the immersion blender. And then you're going to pass it through a mesh to get the solids. And then you're going to simmer it until it reduces, and that's going to be an additional 20 to 35 minutes. So I'm going to come back, after an hour to see how it's doing. I'll come back after 2 hours. And at that point, all the sugar should have melted in the crock pot and that sort of thing. And I'll see the consistency. Like I said, I'll strain it and I'll probably put it back in the pot just to, kind of act as a reduction. So the reduction it'll be thicker, but just so you know, this is not going to be like a thick barbecue sauce. Like I said, it's kind of it's going to be more like probably like a thicker balsamic vinaigrette. So that's the consistency. So it's going to be a little bit more, a little bit more runny than what you're used to, but it makes up for it in taste. So anyway, you can use it on chicken, pizza, pretty much anything. Like if I have a sandwich, like, roast beef, chicken sandwich, pretty much almost any type of sandwich, you can just put it in it. I mean, it's just good on absolutely everything. As a matter of fact, I really want to make some pretzel chicken fingers, and I think this will be really good to actually dip it in. So anyway, guys, I will see you in the next live. I don't know what the next live is going to be. I'll keep you guys posted. So see you later.